So I'm going to test 4 different gases now. These should be things that are quite familiar to you because you've done them at other stages during your time at school. I'm going to test them systematically. So the first one is hydrogen, which I've collected earlier. So hydrogen is supposed to make a squeaky pop with a lit splint. So let's just confirm that happens. Now, I know that hydrogen is less dense than air, so I'm going to hold the tube upside down, and that way the hydrogen will get stuck in the top of the tube there, and it won't escape before I have a chance to ignite it. So let's just have a quick try. And that one worked really well. The test is for oxygen. Now oxygen should relight a glowing splint. Now oxygen density is about the same as air, so I'm going to hold this tube sideways so that it doesn't sort of escape upwards or downwards. I need a glowing splint. It should relight, which I think it did. The next test is for CO2. Now CO2 is supposed to make lime water go cloudy. Now we know CO2 is more dense than air, so if I take the bung out of this tube, the CO2 should stay in the tube. I've got a second tube here that's got lime water in it. Now in the past when we've tested for CO2, we've used one of these to suck the CO2 and bubble it through the lime water. But because I haven't got any liquid effectively in the bottom of my test tube here, I'm going to show you another strategy I can use. Now CO2 I know is more dense than air, so I can pour it into my lime water. So if I take the bung out and pour, it will look like I'm pouring nothing, and I feel a bit silly doing it. But that should pour any CO2 that was in that test tube in on top of the lime water. If I now shake up my lime water, it should go cloudy. And there we are. That's worked rather nicely. The gas I'm going to test for is ammonia. Now we've met this one before. This is an alkaline gas, so it should turn damp indicator paper blue. So I've got my damp indicator paper here. It's green where I've dumped it with water. And if I take the bung out, whoa, that started to change really quickly. Now if I waft that near the mouth of the tube, you can see it's very definitely gone blue. Okay, and it actually smells pretty rank as well. I'll get rid of that one. Second test for ammonia. Ammonia, when it encounters HCl fumes, will make a white smoky solid of ammonium chloride. So I'm going to just use the stopper of my concentrated HCl bottle to hold near the mouth of my tube containing ammonia and see if I can see those white smoky fumes. Wow. So I think that's pretty convincing. You can see a lot of white smokiness there. It's even worked its way down into the tube as well. This is the final one. This is chlorine. And chlorine's got a sort of greenish colour to it. So I'm going to use this white board to help show that there is definitely a greenish colour to the gas that I've got contained in that tube. Okay, so that's one sort of clue that I might have chlorine. The other thing that it can do is turn damp indicator paper red and then bleach it. So I've got some damp litmus paper here, and I'm going to waft that in front of the tube, and I hope I've got enough chlorine there that it will work. Okay, so stick it in. Oh my goodness, that's actually worked really well. You can see it's starting to make the indicator paper change colour. In fact, it's barely even seeing the red. It's going almost straight away to being bleached. Okay. You might be able to see it's gone a bit pinker down at the bottom there. Okay. And again, it's got a very distinctive smell of swimming pools, which is really quite unpleasant. Water vapour. So I've just boiled a kettle here, and I'm going to use the steam coming out of the spout. I need to test for this using some cobalt chloride paper. Now cobalt chloride paper is blue, but it should go pink when it encounters water. So I'm just going to waft this gently in the steam coming out of the spout. It's just starting to turn on the corner. Okay, now it's not a very convincing pink colour. You can see it's definitely lost a lot of the blue colour to it. It looks more white than pink. It's a very, very pale pinky colour. Okay, now it's starting to go. Brilliant. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a sort of pinkish cast to that paper. Okay.